Hi guys, this is Stellarum, back for another episode of Stellarum FTB. So today's episode I'm going to start by crafting, I'm making I've got a little bit of a hobgoblin infestation. I actually put a door here which caused immediately like 20 or 30 hobgoblins to come in here and create havoc. But I've mostly cleared them out just by clearing out that door, so I don't think I'm going to do that again. Hopefully, wherever I decide to build my base, I won't have that problem. But if we do have that problem, we'll deal with it when we get there. Now, right now I have a couple of survivalist generators going, and I've got this pulverizer, and it's working fairly well. But I would like to continue to store up some energy. Because while this is keeping up fairly well with the small amount of ore that I'm processing, you can see I've only got just a little tiny bit. I still got some ores to process, but I kind of prioritized the stuff that I needed right away, and stuff like aluminum I'm going to need once I get into Tinker's Construct, but not so much right now. Same thing with yellowite and uranium. I'm probably not going to need that until I get to big reactors, which we're a little bit away from that. So what I wanted to do was find a way to store energy though, so that I can create more stuff that can go on this power supply, and more machines that can use that power. So what I've decided to make is a leadstone energy cell. So I'll show you this right here. This is the crafting recipe for it. You need a leadstone energy cell frame, and then you also need copper and a redstone conductance coil. So let's start with the energy cell frame. It's just a block of redstone, some glass, and some lead. So that's pretty easy. We've got that done. Now we've got to figure out how to make the redstone conductance coil. Now the tricky part about this is it's made out of electrum, and if I go into my if you go in here, I've got gold, I've got copper, I've kind of got a few different things. I've got lead, tin, more tin over here. This is the industrial craft one versus the thermal foundation one. So I've got these basic metals, but I don't have, and I've got a few more up here, so I've got stuff like, well, there's pulverized gold, I can go in there, I've got some more copper, I've got some more lead, I've got some more ferrous, and then I've also got silver. So I've got a few basics, but I don't have electrum. And the tricky thing about electrum is you can't actually find it while digging. So you've got to actually craft it. Or maybe you can do something like use an alloy smelter to smelt down some gold and silver together. That's one way to do it. But we don't have an alloy smelter as of yet. Probably want to get one soon, but what I'm going to do instead is just craft an electrum blend. So if you go into shapeless crafting, you see it's just gold dust and silver dust, or pulverized gold and pulverized silver. So we do have that. So let's go over here. Let's get a few of this, a little bit of this. You know what, let's go ahead and craft with 4 gold and 4 silver for now. I don't think I'm gonna need a whole bunch of this stuff, but it's probably not a bad idea to have a little bit around. So you just put it in here, boom, you get your electrum dust. So now we have 8 electrum ingots. Let's go ahead and get these all cooked up, and then we need just a little bit more copper. I think it was just 3. Let's see if I can do this by memory. And then I'm gonna need a little bit of redstone. So just 2 redstone, just like that. We're gonna put that there. This gives us the conductance coil. Then we put the energy cell here, and the copper ingots around, and boom, we have our energy cell. Now we just need to charge it. So this, I think, will hold the power if I break it. Not sure. We'll see. Okay. So let's just put this, you know what, let's put this over on this wall for now. And yes, it did hold all the power. Great. Okay. So now what we want to do, let's try that same thing. If we place this this block here, it's quickly starting to charge, and if I go ahead and break it, just like that, and then I place it somewhere else, does it hold its charge? Yes, it does. Great. So let's go ahead and put this down here, and we can let it charge. We might want to have, I was actually thinking I'd need a crescent wrench. I think it's a crescent wrench. I think it's probably a good idea to have this anyways. It's just tin and iron. So we've got iron here, and we've got tin, and we get our crescent hammer. Sorry. So if we do that, we can just right click it and shift it over when we need power. Great. So these are actually completely drained out. We've got 400,000 RF. We're up to 150, so that leaves about 250, more or less, a little bit less, 250,000 RF that we can have. Each coal in here generates about 80,000. So if we put 250 plus an extra 100,000 in each, that is 450,000 RF. And if we divide that, I'm just going to do a little bit of calculator work off screen here. 450 divided by 80 will give us 5.6. So let's go ahead and put let's put 2 more in each generator. That will completely fill up the energy cell, and then mostly fill up these remaining power cells here, or capacitors in the individual generators. So we can put that there, and then when we need power, we can just put it over on this wall here, and it'll supply power over where we need it. We can put it right beside it, and it'll generate power and put it in there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need some tools very soon. So you can see I cleared out a little bit of room here. A lot of it was gravel here, and it takes a little while clearing this out like that. I can make a vanilla shovel, but I'd really rather prefer to find something a little bit more, like a little better and nicer. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to craft some Tinker's Construct stuff. And before I do that, I'm going to need a bit more trees. So let's just go down here, and let's grab this tree here. Oh, it's rubber wood, but that's okay. I can actually smelt this into regular wood, or a regular-ish wood. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's grab that. Didn't get any drops from that. That's alright. There's a whole bunch of rubber wood everywhere here. Whoa. I don't know how I survived that, but I managed to knock him away. And now I'm lagging. This is not a good spot to be. He just came out of nowhere, didn't he? He just looked at me and dropped in right on top of me and was like, I am going to... Okay. That's one way to take care of him. Okay, sorry, that was a little stressful. Check the overhead map in case there are mobs. lesson of the day. I don't think I'll forget that one. Did he come right out of this cave here? Maybe. So clearly I've not chosen the safest place for my base. That's alright. Okay, let's go ahead and punch some wood. We are here for a purpose. It's to punch wood and get some resources. Okay, so once we've got that, I think that'll be enough wood. I'm just checking around briefly to see if there's any more drops here. Let's head back into our base. Just like so. You guys are just hanging out around here, aren't you? Okay, we'll shut that. It's gonna take... You know what I'm gonna do? Okay, so I can smelt this rubber wood in here, and it works pretty well. But I think I'm actually going to upgrade one of these furnaces. Actually, I've got a couple spares here. So I'm going to upgrade one of these, and I'm going to upgrade it to an iron furnace. You do that, you get the iron furnace. All it takes is a couple of iron plates. And to get that, it's actually pretty easy. You just need a forge hammer and a piece of iron ingot. So it takes, if you go back to this, it takes 5 iron plates, 1 furnace, which is just a bunch of cobble, and you get your iron furnace. Great. How do you get the forge hammer? Well, it's just a couple sticks and some iron. So let's go ahead and make that. We'll do that just like so, and then put some iron in here, like that. We get our forge hammer, and now I can do 5 pieces like that. You see, I need only 1 forge hammer, and I can just keep crafting the iron plates like so. And now I can use that forge hammer next time I need some iron plates. And now I can go ahead and craft my iron furnace. The nice part about the iron furnace is, let's just put him here. He's a little special, I guess. So the really nice part about the iron furnace, it's just like a regular furnace. You load them up with coal and you stick whatever you want to smelt in here, but instead of taking a lot, it takes a little bit longer to craft in a regular furnace. This, because it's a more industrial version, it actually crafts a lot, or it goes a lot faster. And it's also more efficient with the use of coal. So it actually, in a regular furnace, for 1 piece of coal, you burn 8 individual pieces of whatever you're trying to smelt. For an iron furnace, 1 piece of coal burns 10. So I happen to have 10 rubber wood, and it was just a nice fit to be able to craft up an iron furnace and be able to do something a little different. So let's start crafting what we're going to need for Tinker's Construct. If we go, I think we can do this, maybe something like this, maybe not. Okay, I'm going to need a stencil table, so just like that. So what we're going to need is some blank patterns like this, and then a piece of wood. Make the blank patterns, it's just a couple sticks and some of those. So I'm going to go ahead and make a few more sticks. I believe I'm going to need a few more very soon. Let's make a whole bunch of these patterns, because we're gonna use them at some point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like so. Get a whole bunch of these, and then one of these, and we get our stencil table. And we immediately get Materials in You Volume 2. So that tells me we had Volume 1 somewhere. Yeah. If you go into Materials in 1, it gives you a whole bunch of information about how to use Tinker's Construct. And I think this is where you get all the recipes that you need. So here's how to make a blank pattern. Here's how to make a stencil table. Here's how to make part crafter. and then we need a tool station as well, and a pattern chest as well. So let's go ahead and make the rest of these. The rest are relatively straightforward. We're going to need one of these and these. That's for the part builder. So we got the stencil table, the part builder. Next we're going to need a crafting bench, so, and that is going to give the tool station. And then what else was there? So we've got stencil table, we have the part crafter, we still need the pattern chest, and we've done the tool station. So I think we can just go ahead and do, what was it? 1, 2, the pattern chest, right? So we can just do this, like that, that there, and that there, and now we have our pattern chest. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and put these kind of against this wall here. I can go ahead and put these like so. Just get a few things placed here. Just like that. Okay. So we're going to want tool station at this end, followed by part builder. Then we're going to put the pattern chest beside that and the stencil. Great. So what we do with Tinker's Construct is you can take yeah, let's go ahead and use flint for now. Okay, so what we want to do with Tinker's Construct is build parts. And you can look in the tool station's fairly nice for that, because you can just look in here and see what kind of tools you can build. So we can build stuff like a shovel or an axe or a hatchet. Or there's even the mattock, which is kind of like a hoe, but it actually works as an axe as well and a shovel as well. So it's fairly useful. As well, there's some interesting new tools. So you have stuff like a broadsword or a longsword, and they have different abilities. For now, we're going to stick with probably, you know what, I'm thinking we might want to make a mattock. Just because it's good to be able to have something that's a general purpose tool. I don't have a huge amount of tools or resources at the moment, so having one tool like that would be fairly useful. So what we're going to need is a tool rod. Then we're going to need a shovel head and an axe head, just like that. And we can actually place these in the pattern chest here. It's made just to hold these patterns, and it works fantastic. Now, the materials that we can use are going to be fairly limited right now, because like if we take this tool rod, it takes a half material. So one iron ingot would be perfect for, well, it would actually be overkill for how much material we need. But if I put this in here, you'll see it can't actually do that. That's because I have to smelt the iron ingot down. So I need a smeltery to do that. We're going to get to that later. For now, I'm going to stick with, well, a stick. It's actually counts as a half material, so it just becomes a wooden tool rod, which is perfect. That's all we need for now. Then we're going to need the axe head and the shovel head. These each take one material to make. So we can go ahead and get the parts that we need to make our tool. Great. Now okay, so now what we're going to do is go into the part builder, find the Matic, and then it shows us what we need to make this part. The axe head, the shovel head, and the handle. Perfect. We've got the handle, we've got the axe head, and we've got the shovel head. So that will give us the flint Matic, and it gives us all kinds of information. So that's great. What we can go ahead and do here as well is rename it. So I'm going to call it the Stellar Matic. Will that work? Matic 1? Stellar Matic 1. I think that'll work. And it does. So now we have this nice tool that we can use to harvest. It's not quite as fast as a shovel, but it does work fairly well. And we can add modifiers onto it as well. So I'll show you. I might add a little bit of redstone just to make it go a little bit faster. So it's pretty cool. I like having this. It's very nice to have. Now let's grab a little bit of redstone. I'm not going to put too much on there because I don't want to spend too many resources. 6 sounds like a good number. Go back into the tool station, and you can actually modify Tinker's Construct tools. So one thing you can do is you can add more flint onto this to repair it, or you can add stuff like redstone to make it go a little bit faster. And you can see it's got a modifier now, it's got haste, and you can check the materials and see all the interesting information about how this works. So we can go ahead, let's add a little bit of redstone on this, and it should go just a little bit faster when we go to dig or harvest anything or anything like that we need to do. It will work a little bit better. So that's great. Let's break this. So eventually I'm going to get some Tinker's Construct tools for everything. But for now, I think I'm going to stick with just those two. I might want to pick at some point. I'm not sure if that point is right now. So let's go ahead and look in Materials in U. So Materials in U, this won't really give us a lot of information on the stuff that we need right now. It does talk about how to make the smeltery, which you need these seared bricks, and to get seared bricks you need to cook grout in a furnace, and grout is sand, gravel, and clay. I might have a little bit of that stuff in there, but I don't think I have much. But if we go all the way to the end, it talks about some other stuff, and I don't think we need to get there. But if we go into Materials in U2, this does provide quite a bit of information. It talks about the different kinds of tools you can have, and you can see here it has some information on the Matic. So you can see it's works somewhat like an axe and a shovel, but not a replacement for either. So the axe and the shovel are more efficient at what they do each separately, but this provides us one tool that can do it all. So that's nice. If we keep going here, we're going to see a whole bunch of stuff, and then we're also going to see what types of materials we can make it out of, and what kind of durabilities it's going to have. So you can see the handle modifier for oak is 1, so it's actually a pretty good handle. When you compare that to a stone handle, it provides half again the the durability of the wood one. So the wood one is much better than the stone one. The flint provides more durability overall than the stone one, but less than something like the iron ingot one. And then you also have stuff like mining speed and mining level, where the iron one is a little bit better at both of those. But the durability is better than some of the other stuff that actually bone's pretty good for durability. Well, that's interesting. I want to do a bone tool. That would be interesting, actually. Let's just take a look here. Netherrack, we're not quite there yet, and it's actually kind of less durable. It does offer a higher level. These were not there at all. Paper is pretty undurable, and we don't really have the modifiers to make anything, and the rest of these are stuff that we can't make. So what I might consider is making a bone, where was it? A bone tool. It's the same level as iron. It's slightly slower. Okay, you know what? I think I've got an idea. Let's take this bone. We're going to make a pickaxe. So we're going to need a binding pattern, and we're also going to need a pickaxe head. And now what we're going to need is some sticks. Let's make those. Okay, so same thing, we're going to need a handle. That's the first thing we need to make. Then we're going to make pickaxe head, and we're going to make that out of flint, because that gives us the better mining speed and mining level. And then we're going to make the tool binding pattern. We're actually going to make that out of bone. So that'll give us a bit of bone meal and a bone binding, just like that. Durability, mining speed, it's okay. Okay, so now that we have those, we can go ahead and make our tool over here, just like this. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if the binding really made a difference. Maybe? I think it might have just more added a mod of like any of the... So if I would have... Actually, you know what? Before I do this, let me try if I have some paper. So let's see... Do I have some paper? Or sugar cane? 2, 3. Grab this. Let's craft this to paper. And then if we go ahead and make the binding out of paper, like that, it gives us the writable. So writable means you have extra modifiers. I don't know if we're going to really use that or not, but let's just see if it makes the same level. So if I put paper in here, and then the wooden tool here, durability 171, 5.25 mining speed, mining level of iron, and 4 modifiers remaining. If we switch this, then we end up with 3 modifiers and everything else is the same. So the bone binding doesn't really do much over the paper binding. So we might as well go with that. I don't think we're going to use these modifiers here, but it doesn't really hurt, so we might as well just go ahead with it. This will be the Stellar Pick 1. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and make it. So we have a new pickaxe. Awesome. Ooh, probably shouldn't have done that actually. There's a little bit of a lake back here. I was digging it. Actually, there was another one here, but I needed a bit of room for this stuff, so I dug in and I was able to clear it out. Okay, so that's great. Now we've got a little bit of a better pick than our regular one. We can repair it. It works pretty good. We can modify it so that we can have it go a little bit faster. It's all good. So I think I'm going to cut the episode off at this point. The next task I'm going to be assigning for myself is to, let's take this, and you can see that works a lot better than punching it. So the next thing I'm going to want to do is start looking for somewhere that I can. Let's head over here. Is it getting to be day, or is it day getting to be night? Not too sure. Let's head over here, see what we can see. Get up there. Just over here. Looks like it's daytime actually. Okay, so what I want to do is actually find a spot for me to build a base, and I'm thinking over in that direction is where I'm going to be building. But I'm still kind of undecided, and from this episode to next, I'm going to be looking around a bit, trying to find a place to build and make my home. So hopefully we can find something that looks good, and we'll find a good spot. I don't quite like up here on the moors because there's all these water pools around with mud, and it's pretty cramped, and there's all these hobgoblins, and they might be a problem. So we'll have to see about that. But down there, see, that looks pretty good. That little hill actually looks really nice. You kind of have these hills up above you, and there's a few trees around. I might end up clearing some of them, and then there's a little bit of stuff there, but that's alright. So I think for now, I'm going to continue looking around, gathering some resources to be able to build my house, and then we'll see that together when I come back with the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay.